This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It's an honor to have you here, showing you one of the arrows. I've got some Native American friends that make arrows for me now and then, and I've made a few myself, but never as good as they do, for whatever given reason. Be that as it may, I'd like to tell you an old story that I was told when I was a kid. Back in the late 1950s, my grandmother told the story, and of course, in the 1960s, had a 60-year-old Sioux lady come to our hamlet school over there and tell the story, and I was very impressed with it. And it goes like this. She said that the Sioux in the area, they had enemy tribes that they had to worry about, like the Pawnee, but there were other tribes like the Cheyenne that they got along with. Well, one of the tribes that they got along with, they would meet every year at a certain time and at a certain river, and they'd trade. And that's how they did their bartering, and they'd even bet on gambling on the fastest horse, the fastest men, the most accurate archer. You bet. Things like that were bet on. Absolutely. Absolutely. At the same time that this was going on one year, though, they had two little boys that were playing down by the river. Okay, all the kids were down there. But these two little boys, one from each tribe, they started chasing a grasshopper. Well, one of them caught said big fat grasshopper. The other one thought it should be his. And they started scuffling and fighting over that grasshopper. Bigger kids came in to try to stop the fight and got into it themselves. Some of the women came down and they started trying to break up, and they started into the fight themselves. Men, seeing that it looked like their side was getting attacked, they went in. In no time at all, knives were pulled and arrows were shot. People were injured, people were killed. People were killed. Absolutely. And so, finally, after a bloodbath, they finally backed off of each other. The two leaders of the different tribes then came together, trying to figure out what in the devil had happened. In no time at all, it was found out that all of that death and destruction, hate that would last for generations, it was caused because of a grasshopper. Two boys chasing a grasshopper. Yeah. There's some wisdom in there to be learned. Before you get into a fight, you kids and young people going to school, being around more and more of the young people in your area and area towns, it's always best to stay out of whatever trouble there might be unless you know exactly what's going on. Don't jump to conclusions. Don't let yourself get into a fight or worse over something that might be as trivial as a grasshopper. Same way with adults. Road rage or maybe just a bad neighbor and you go ballistic, you better do all you can to try to figure out a better way than violence and jumping to conclusions. And even in your own family, give them the benefit of the doubt before you go to violence as your plan A.